We've got a pretty rich tradition in Australia. We had the king of the channel for a long time, Des Renford, before Kevin Murphy took his mantle. So, you know, definitely something I've looked up to through my career, and yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm not in the water for the whole time. Every second hour, so I'm swimming an hour on, an hour off.
If you want me to be honest or just to be polite for the camera, my record is gonna last this year for sure.
I've had a pretty strong rivalry with Peter for some time now in the World Cup and World Championships.
I don't think Brendon is in good shape this year. He couldn't qualify for the World Championships.
He's one of the best in the world. You know, Brendon won 2004 World Championships for the 25k, and you can't do that without having some knowledge of the ocean.
I have to explain one more time about my record. The day I swam, the day I set the record, 25 minutes behind me started the Russian guy Yuri Kudinov. He was the top of the top that year. He won the World Championships in Melbourne a few months before. He was one of the best guys at the year, and I just make it faster than him.
I think, you know, giving the right day and the right conditions, that world record will be in threat.
And so the day arrived for Brendon to make his challenge, and here's how the story unfolded.
The channel is a waiting game, and it is dependent on the weather, so you have to be patient. But once I was told I had the go-ahead, I really did want to get into the water and start swimming.
I think it took us a little while to get to sleep that night, but at the same time I think we were quite excited.
The first 3 hours I didn't have too many problems, and over most marathons I don't. It's when the cold creeps in that your mind starts to wander. Unfortunately, you know, the cold did strike me in this one, so the middle of the channel seemed quite significantly colder than the rest, and yeah, it's very hard to warm up once that happens.
The first hour that I swam with Brendon was actually not too bad. The England side was probably around 16, low 17 degrees. I thought it was definitely very bearable. It was when I got in the second and third time, and I was in a wetsuit, I thought it was freezing.
I think it was about 6 hours 45, and I probably had 4 kilometres to go. And you know, it wasn't going to be a record swim, but for my first attempt it was going to be a very fast swim, and I was quite happy with that. But unfortunately at that time we missed the tide, and I was swimming in the spot, and I would have had to have pretty much swum in the same spot or the same distance out from shore for the next 3 hours just to get in. That's kind of the dynamics of the English Channel, and you know, it was fairly heartbreaking at the time. But at the same time, I don't think I could have swum for 3 hours in water that cold. I was already starting to suffer quite a bit.
When you're faced with a 6 or 7 hour challenge in the water, it's just a little too long to have those kind of conditions. I've
sought advice from a lot of people before this swim who have done it in the past, and they have always said that, you know, the channel is a very unpredictable and volatile swim, and you've got to respect it, and you've just got to be ready for anything. And unfortunately the conditions didn't play into my favour towards the end of the swim.
Unlucky Brendon, but it just goes to show how incredibly tough that channel swim can be, and how magnificent Petr Stoichev's world record is.